Hey guys, so as you're working in Blender, and if you're like me, you find that a lot of times you have to change your tool settings quite a bit, more so than you want, and you probably want to change them by default so they behave a little bit different when you use them. One of those, for me at least, happens to be the knife tool, so we're going to explore little problems I run into with it real quick. But the knife tool, when you do a cut, you press A. A lot of times you want to do angle snaps. You can't do anything but 30-degree angle snaps, so 30, 60 degrees. That's not really something I like to begin with. But as I do a quick little cut with it, you'll notice that by default here, by pressing A, it's not actually straight up and down, and that's not what I want at all. So here's the deal. This one in particular, you hit A to use angle snap, you hit A again, and now you have relative angle snap. All right, if I do something like that, cool. So there's a lot of things in here I really want to change, or I would like to behave a little bit different by default, and I don't want to keep having to hit A twice, and then maybe S for turning on the distance measurements or the et cetera, right? It's a runaway train after a little while, and that'll happen on Bevel, Inset, or whatever you're using. There might be all kinds of things you want to change. So let's do that. Let's go to Preferences, Add-ons, or excuse me, not add-ons, Key Map, and we're going to type in Knife real quick. The Knife tool here, expand it open a little bit more. You'll see all this is grayed out right here. It doesn't matter. You could change this. So angle snapping, for example, when I hit A the first time, it goes to screen. Next time, it goes to relative. So I'm going to turn relative on by default. 30 degrees. Nah, let's use 10. Okay. You could use 5 if you want, I guess. And then measurements over here. Maybe I want to see the angles that I'm cutting. So we'll do that. This is really going to supercharge kind of the knife tool for you. It's going to make it a lot more useful to you, more than likely. So, but this happens on everything. You do bevels, for example. So you type in bevel. You Control B here. This is the one. Mesh bevel. A lot of things are grayed out. Width type, for me anyways, I don't really care for offset. I like using width. So I'm going to change it to width. And if we go through some of more of these settings here, one of the biggest ones that you'll want to change is outer emitter from sharp to arc. Okay? You may want to do things like hardened normals, but if you use weighted normals, you don't need to do that really. That creates a custom normal is what it does. But you might want to turn the profile up if you're doing hard surfaces. 0.7 works well. It also helps the shading a bit. Also, you could change like the default segment counts if you wanted to. So if you want to use 2 by default or 4, you do that. I have no problems with it. Intern clamp overlap on or off, whatever the case. But let's go ahead and play with it now since we've changed some things. So now you'll see when I hit K to use the knife tool, instantly I can snap relative and by 10-degree increments. So I could do 90, maybe 120, maybe do another 120. And there you go. So I can do that. That's going to help immensely when I'm doing other little sections as well, such as right here. I need a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle right there. Now I can scale that. Take this whole segment, bevel it, grab that, and maybe I can just do Alt-E, extrude manifold, push it in. All right. So that's quite good. I'm going to use it again real quick so we can do a bevel. You can see I can turn it off too, but if I cancel it and start again, it's back on. So I can also turn off the measurements by pressing S. So if I want to turn them off instead, because sometimes I actually like seeing that more than not, but sometimes it gets in the way. So press S, turn it on, off, or toggle through it. So that's nice. But this one, we're going to Alt-E, extrude manifold, push it in. Okay, and so if you were to bevel something like this, normally you hit Control B and you start beveling. That outer emitter is set to sharp. This is what you would see, right? It doesn't look very good. But we changed it by default to be arc. And so now we don't have to worry about changing that every time to get this result, which is really nice because you're going to probably end up doing a lot of bevels where there's no need for that to be set to sharp at all. Width as well, so we can measure these things if needed, which is quite nice. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to show you how you can change those. Now, just keep in mind, if you're using manual saves here, you turn autosave off. Usually you get an asterisk when you change things, right? But it doesn't show up. Just click save anyways. When you restart Blender, they'll come back up. Promise. So, anyways, I'll check you guys out in the next one. Take care.